but we'll start recording now. But just so that we have a stable stream and we keep distractions to a minimum, we'll just ask again. Microphones off, cameras off until we get to the question and answer sort of segment. So thank you very much for coming to our meeting tonight. This is anybody from SwimFit and JOW, you're welcome to attend, but this is really and primarily about how to sign up for your very first swim meet. So if you're familiar with that, you're here, this is the second or third time you've heard it. Again, you're welcome to stay, but there's no new real information coming out of this meeting. This is just more as we had new people into the program starting here in our spring session for both SwimFit and JOW, an opportunity to show everybody how it works and what it is all about. So that is the meeting. I am Jason Pratt. I'm the club manager of the Cascade Swim Club. Beside me is Jackie Pratt. She oversees all of our novice developmental programs, including SwimFit and Junior Olympic Way, as well as the swim school, the JAG and Olympic Way programs. So what we're here to talk to you again tonight about is your first swim meet. So I am just going to share my screen here with everybody, and we've got a quick presentation to help this along. And hopefully everybody is seeing that. And if something comes up during the meeting and you have a question, it's not something you feel like asking just at the moment, throw it in the chat box and we'll get to it at the end. And then also as we start answering those questions, as I said earlier, feel free to either just put it in the chat box or raise your hand or come off your microphone and we can do it there. So this is our parent meeting for tonight. Again, it is Junior Olympic Way and SwimFit parents, and it is primarily in regards to swim meets. So what we're going to go over tonight, how to sign up for a swim meet, the meet sign up sheet or the meet information sheet, what that looks like, event selection, what to bring for swim meets, things like disqualifications. And we are doing this primarily around the event listed there as the Spring Fundamentals. That is the meet that is happening on May 7th and May 8th. And that is at the Brooksfield YMCA at Seaton, which is the pool you, for the most part, are all pretty much familiar with. And so that is the event that we're leaning, this whole topic of discussion is built around. So how to sign up for swim meets. Let's just say in a general comment is, if you manage to sign up for the program which you're in, which you all have, this is no more complicated than that, and it's even simpler. It is simply declaring a yes or a no currently at this level. So no more complicated than that, but we'll show you, we'll take you through the steps anyway. What you're seeing on your screen right now is what we call, and some of the graphics will be a little bit funny here as I converted the PDF to a JPEG just to be able to show you easier, but this is what a meet information sheet looks like. So tomorrow you will get a link sent to you from the office that will take you to the page that's hosting this information. And it's going to be, the meet information sheet has all the pertinent information for competition that is coming up. And you'll see on this one, starting from the top, the name of the event, Cascade May Fundamentals Swim Meet, the dates, travel, again, is not really applicable to this part of the program, where the pool is located. So the address there, the host club, which in this particular case is us. And then what's pertinent is the swimmers attending. And what's just missing on here, and this is just the old version of the sheet because we haven't sent you yours yet, but that SwimFit, JOW, Olympic Way, JAG Blue, JAG Gold are all asked to attend this event. It then lists what the meet times are, Saturday and Sunday. A lot of the times the competitions you go to will just be one day. This one just happens to be a Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning. There's information about what it costs per entry into the swim meet. That's all there. Bring all your Cascade team equipment gear. It's just a sort of a note that goes into almost all of our meet information documents. And when we need you to sign up by. And again, this is a bit of a draft document because it's listed the deadline as Thursday, May 5th. The deadline will actually be Friday, the 22nd of April is the deadline to sign up for this competition. And that will be listed on this new document. Okay. Just making a note to make sure we put the correct one up. So again, there's other information in there, a little bit of how you go about, and I'll walk you through this in the next steps, saying yes or no when you want to declare whether or not you're going to attend the meet. There's a note about in the event notes. There's something you'll see. Job sign up opens up on yesterday evening at 8 o'clock. That is not relevant for JOW. That is not relevant for SwimFit. It just happens that your first competition that you're attending is a competition that we, Cascade, are hosting. So in the groups above JOW and SwimFit, we have a requirement for our parents to come help on deck and officiate, volunteer. And so that's what that is referring to about the job sign up. But again, job sign up for Junior Olympic Way for SwimFit is not applicable, even though that is what we're hosting. That is something you'll get to do a little bit later on. So that's what a meet information sheet looks like. How do I navigate to do this and say yes or say no once this has been sent to me? So when you get the email, you're going to get a direct link, and it's going to skip ahead on all of these steps that I'm showing you here. But I'm just showing you if you somehow you misplace the email or the link, or you want to go back to it a day or two later and you just want to find your own way there. A couple key things. One, and you'll see it here on the top right-hand corner of your screen, sign in. You do have to be signed in to the Cascade website to be able to access this information. When you follow it through the link that is sent in the email, it will take you to the sign in. You'll have to sign in, and then it'll take you directly to the event page. But once you're signed in, you will see here in the bottom left-hand corner under swim meets, all the events that are coming up. And when you find the one that you're looking for, yours just doesn't happen to be shown on this snapshot, a screenshot that I'm showing you. But let's say it was. And if you look in that right-hand corner, oops, skipped ahead here on the page, you click on this edit commitment. So 3 steps: signing into the website, finding the particular event that you're looking for, and then hitting on that edit commitment button. And when you hit on that edit commitment button, this information on the left is going to show up for you. It's going to show you, again, the event, and then it's going to show you your swimmer's name. And you'll see one of our swimmers' names highlighted in red in the bottom left-hand corner of this page. What you do then, and it will be, and when you log in, it will be your swimmer's name. You click on your swimmer's name, and then you just say yes, or you say no. Either way is fine. And then once you've said yes or you've said no, you just click in the bottom right-hand corner, save. Okay, so I took you through how to get here if you just went to the website. When you get that email tomorrow that is saying, here's the information, do you want to go and sign up? It will take you automatically to this left-hand side of the page, which shows you the meet and your swimmer's name. So you kind of easily go around those first few steps. It might ask you to log in, but if you're already logged in, it won't. So again, all you're looking for is that this is the competition I've been told about. There's my swimmer. I click on my swimmer's name and I say yes, or I say no, and then I click save. That's all you have to do to be able to sign up for a swim. One of the things that, if you look here, and this is just back to the sign up page. And if you look, you'll see my swimmer's name is Cole. I am saying yes, I want to sign Cole up for this competition. And then you can see there in the middle of the screen, notes. What this notes section is for is if you can only attend up to a certain point. In this particular case, the meet is Saturday and Sunday. This is an opportunity to say, yeah, we'll be there on Saturday, but on Sunday, it just so happens we've already had plans. We're going to grandma's house for brunch, cannot be there on Sunday. All of that is no problem. All of that is information your coach wants to have and to know, as opposed to just saying no, which again, you can, but it's way easier if you say, no, unfortunately, this is happening, or yes, but only partially. And certainly, above all, when you get this information, your coach wants to know yes or no at minimum, so that they're not wondering, did you just forget? Did you miss getting the email? Has it gone to your spam or junk or so on?
Or sometimes people forget to click the save button, and so they think they have committed to the meet, and then if you don't hit that save button, you're not going to show up, and I'm just going to think you're not coming to the meet.
Yeah, and one of the things that you just see here when you say yes, and I just skipped over this, you'll see this on the left-hand side of your screen, a list of times for events. This is something that usually doesn't show up at your level on the screen. You're simply saying yes or no, qualifying it as you might need to. And I'll just show you what that looks like here. Just bear with me for 1 second. So if you and I'm just going to show you some examples from our own families. And let's see here where we've got it. So okay, here it is. So on, and you should be able to see this now. So on the fundamentals, if I had to go to look at that event, I'll just show you what actual notes from families look like. So your coach will be able to see it from this end. And so as they scroll through here, they'll see that, and you'll see this little symbol on the notes that Oliver can only swim on the Sunday. Great information for the coach to have so that they don't enter them in any events on Sunday. Little Elijah can only attend the Saturday. Again, none of this is a problem. We cannot attend on Sunday, May 8th. Because when we're putting events in, you know, when it's an event that Cascade is hosting, we have a lot more flexibility, and it's a lot of these problems we can work our way around. But when we're attending an event that, and these names may mean nothing to you at the time, at the moment, but they may in the future, run by Killarney Swim Club or University of Calgary or the Calgary Patriots or Okotoks Swim Club, we submit our entries to them. Once they're gone, you're committed to them. So if we have sent them entries, assuming that you can swim both Saturday and Sunday, but that note or that information was never passed along, we're really at the mercy of that other organization to say, well, too bad. You sent us events saying you're swimming Sunday. And what I mean is the financial commitment. If they say, well, you submitted entries for $65 and it's too late, then really that ends up on you. And we just don't want to put you in that position. So again, that's why this note section is so handy, and we encourage you to use it. And again, even if it is saying, no, we're not attending, just give your coach a quick little note in there, say, look, whatever it is, we're off camping that particular
And just
weekend.
so you know, everyone, I do the entries for everybody. So at this fundamental meet, I'm going to be doing entries from JAG Gold all the way down to JOW. And so you can send that note to me. I do have families who will often send me an email on top of it just to make sure I got the message, and that's fine too. You can always follow up with you. You all have my email, so you're always welcome to follow up with an email to me, just confirming that we can't swim on Sunday or whatever it is. It's like Jason said, we don't want people having to pay for entries that you're not going to swim. So as best we can be on top of that early on in the game, it's better, because we have those entry deadlines that we have to stick to. So.
Yep. And just regarding events and what I'd mentioned earlier, it's not something that you will commonly see at your level, that listing of those individual events for the swimmers. It's not something that we ask you or that you need to do. As your swimmer progresses through the club and they get to a little bit higher level, there's a little bit more back and forth and working with the coach on event selection. But at this level, essentially all of the swimmers are swimming all of the same events at the same time. And there's some slight degrees of variation there, depending on, one swimmer's at a different level, comfort level, or different technical level than another. Then there might be some slight variation, but essentially everybody, as an example, will swim the 50 back, the 100 free, and the 25 breast, whatever those particular events are. But you will see that being a very common occurrence, where everybody that your swimmer trains with and all of the other swimmers in a similar group, they'll all swim the same events the same weekend with some slight variations. So.
Yeah, and so actually, I was just going to quickly go through some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So the coach, I will discuss with the coaches what they feel the swimmers are ready for. I got to say, this is the first year we've had junior Olympic way kids racing breaststroke. And so this tells me that the coaches are doing an exceptional job, and the swimmers are working very hard. So the last swimming we went to, many of them raced breaststroke for the first time, and it was really exciting. So going forward, I will talk to Coach Dylan and Coach Caleb about the swim fit swimmers and what they're ready for. I know many of the swim fit kids can race breaststroke, absolutely. So these are the things I will discuss with Coach Dylan. And as far as JOW goes, I get feedback from all the JOW coaches on, I will tell them who's committed to going to the meet, and we'll go through the events, and they'll give me an idea of what they're ready for. So because this is your first event, we, really, this is all about, working out the kinks, learning the ropes of a swim meet, and it's all very brand new. So we don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. We're not going to put you in an event where we feel anyone's going to, be overwhelmed or frightened of it. So we want everyone to be successful and have fun. And that's the goal of the first meet, of course, always. But there are lots of things we consider, are they ready to do this event? When was the last time they raced this event? Were they disqualified last time? And we'll talk about disqualifications too, because it happens. Were they disqualified last time and we want to try it again? And so we always consider that. We often, sometimes we'll not select events that are back to back, because we want the kids to have a rest in between events. And then, sometimes we put the kids in events just because it's fun. And at the younger levels, and the introductory fundamentals levels, the kids have an opportunity to race 25s, for example, and the 25s are super fun to race, and they don't get the opportunity to race 25s for very long. So if we have little 7-8-year-olds racing 25s, we want to make sure they they have a chance to do those. So that's another reason why we might pick 25s. You know, we may want to provide a challenge for them. We might want them to try 50 fly for the first time, or 100 free might be a challenge, or 100 back might be a challenge for the first time. So we have to, you know, just give them a little bit of a challenge each time and progressively get into more challenging events. And also perhaps the swimmers and coaches have been working on specific things in practice, and then they would like to see it all kind of come together at the swim meet. So those are all things we consider. I talk with the coaches, and so we put a lot of thought into selecting the events. So that's kind of how that works. If your swimmer has indicated to you that I really want to race 100 free or whatever it is, they can always tell their coach that they would like to do that, and you can pass that along to me in the notes section as well. So since you don't have an opportunity to select events yourself, you can leave me a note in the notes section saying, you know, Damien is interested in swimming 100 back for the first time. And I can talk to his coach about that, and we can make a decision whether or not it's time for them to do that. So that's an opportunity for you to do, to do that as well. Okay.
So, and just one thing that we didn't mention, but it's implied, and it's just so that to be very clear, ultimately it is the coach and the coaching staff that determine entries. And so sometimes, despite what a swimmer may think that they would like to swim, it may be a coach determination in the best interest. It's not what they're going to do this particular competition. And that's the same at this level as it is all the way through and at every other single level inside of this club, that final entry determination is at coach's discretion. So just so that everybody is clear. So the I'll just find your summer's events.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I'm just going to show you that, as we mentioned, the event selection for swimmers is not an option that pops up on the screen for you. But after the entries are put in, how do you see what it is that your swimmer is actually swimming in the event? So to see that, where you go is back to the website again. And I'm just going to get to that page. So when we're here, okay. So because there's no events in that one, I'm just going to show you another summary. So let's say, what do we have? Okay, Westerns. So now I'm showing you from the administrative perspective. So it does look slightly different for you as a club member, but once your swimmers events have been chosen, instead of a blank field beside your swimmer's name, when you go back and you log in to the website and you go to the event as Mr. and Mrs. Butler, you're going to see your swimmer Addison, and then beside Addison's name, the list of the 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, whatever the case might be, events that they're swimming in the competition. And you can see in Addison's case, he has the 200 free, the 200 breast, the 100 free, 100 breast, so on and so forth. But once that is been selected and you see it's marked as approved, which means it is final, you as a parent, family member can go in and you can see what it is that they're committed to swimming.
And you'll be able to see that, a few days out before the competition. So there may be a point where you go to check and it's not finished yet. That just means I haven't approved it. But when you see that approved beside the event, that means that this is what's been, sent for entries. So.
And typically that is, as Jackie had mentioned, prior to the meet, it's normally 2 weeks prior to the meet. And you can see that when you look at the meet information sheet that you are sent on this particular event, it's Western Championships, it's happening this weekend. You'll see that the deadline was the 1st of April. So at some point after the 1st of April, within the next couple of days of that deadline, that's when the coaches would have all of those entries listed up for you to see. It's not terribly urgent, and it's really something you would go and you would look for as a, as a convenience, so that when you are going to the competition and you're looking to see what Damien, Johnny, or Sally are swimming, that you know exactly what it is that they're doing. Okay. So there is other information on this meet information page that it's not always relevant for everyone, but when you go and you click on that event, or you click on the link and you go to the event page, and we're at the event page for Western Canadian Championships, in the forms and documents, there's a travel information sheet, there's session reports, psych sheets, and the web page. For this level and this event, these are relevant documents for these swimmers and their families. Beyond the meet information sheet, at your level, there's not much that you would ever really need to go in and look forward here. If there are those documents, such as the meet package and so on, they'll be posted here, but really they're not particularly relevant at this time and at this stage for your swimmers, but so that you are aware, that is where they are on the event page for the competition that your swimmer is in. Okay.
When you see your swimmers' events listed beside their name, that is actually the order that they will be racing them at the competition. And typically at the JOW level, the swimmers are only in single day events or one session events, but first go here, we're in a two-day meet, so that's great. But you'll see after I've done the entries for this upcoming meet on May 7th and 8th, that it'll be separated, like you can see day 1 and day 2 here. It'll look
similar, but there won't be as nearly as many options when it's finally done.
But you'll be able to see the order in which their races are happening and on which day they happen. So, and again, if you have any questions about any of this, hopefully we're speaking in English to you right now, but once you get going, you'll understand everything we're talking about. But if you ever have any questions about, what they're swimming and what order the events come, please send me an email or send me a note in the notes section.
Yeah. And then, so I think one of the things we're going to talk about is now really the actual running of a swim meet. So what's happened up until this point is you've been given the information about the competition. You've gone in and you've said yes or no, we're going to attend this competition. Your coach has done the entries. They've been sent. Everybody's entered and ready to attend. Now we're just coming to the swim meet. So how long does a swim meet run? It runs a few hours, and it kind of depends.
Yeah, and that's one of the common questions we get. When is my swimmer swimming, and what time will we be able to leave, and how long is this going to take? And one thing you'll quickly learn with swimming is you spend a lot of time at the pool, and it's not always, to the minute my event is at 5:05 or whatever. It's we're getting there. We're getting a little bit more specific with that, but
yeah, they do publish guidelines, and those will be available prior to the competition that say, and I'll show you an example of one. Now, at the level I'm showing you here, Western Canadian Championships, things are at a fairly high level of competition, and swimmers are quite used to swim meets. There is a lot of experienced volunteers and professional people running the event. Not that there isn't at any other level, but it's all timed out literally to the minute. And so they can be fairly confident in knowing that if you are swimming in the women's 13 and over 200-meter breaststroke, it will start at 10:16 a.m. within a minute or two. At your level, this information will become available, but it might be 10:16, could be 10:05, could be 10:30. And that's only because at the novice level, there's a lot of other just logistical challenges of novice swimmers all coming to their first meet, and things potentially not running as super smooth and on time as they would at a very high caliber national level. That to be said, everybody works towards that, but these timelines and reports that are called session reports that will eventually get posted once we have them are guidelines. They're rough guidelines, but it'll give you a start time for the day. It'll give you a finish time for the day. Our competitions that we host were typically fairly accurate, within 20 or 30 minutes or so, and only running late if there happens to be some type of a delay, which might be a technical thing with the scoreboard, or could be a fire alarm that sets the building off. And
That
it
happened
happened
last
at our
time.
last meet, put a bit of a delay into things. But so that's how you know when it is that my swimmers are swimming. That information will be made available on our website. We always let our swimmers who are attending, whether it's our meet or someone else's meet, when we have that information, so that you can go and see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Results.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Meet
Sure.
Mobile then?
So now results for swimmers are almost the universal platform, mobile results platform that people use is an app called Meet Mobile. Our Meet operating software automatically sends results to Meet Mobile. It is an app that you have to get. It is an app that you have to subscribe to be able to get all of the information. But then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to get the results. I want to say in real time. That's never really the reality, but when almost real time, you'll be able to get the results for your swimmers after they have completed their swim. So
and by that, we mean their final time or whatever.
Yeah, final time. And you'll be able to look back to on the season and the various meets throughout the year that they compete in, and see all of those results. I'm just going to show you what that app looks like.
And I can send everybody the link to get the app. I'll send that in an email to everyone if you're interested in getting it.
Oh, here we go. So this is the app that I'm referring to, Meet Mobile. So again, like I said, it's the almost universal platform inside of North America for swimming competitions. And you can get a version of it at the App Store if you're on iOS, or Google Play for Android. And all it is, if you click on the link, there it is. This is what the logo looks like, just so that you're aware. And then there's a few screenshots about how the information is shown onside the platform. I won't go too far into this. It's fairly intuitive and self-explanatory once you get in there. But again, this is something for you to track your results of your swimmer, see it in real time, share it with friends and family, and so on. And obviously, if you're there at the competition and you're watching, you'll be able to see the results on the scoreboard, but sometimes they pop up pretty quick. Sometimes it might be hard to read whether or not your swimmer remembers a result by the time they come up to see you. That may or may not happen. It's not relevant that you absolutely have this, but
We have a lot of people that typically ask though.
yeah,
So
and that's what it
just
is
that
right there,
information.
Meet
Yeah.
Mobile. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we,
Yeah, you can carry on.
maybe
Yeah.
we'll just talk about disqualifications because I have already mentioned it. And so when, and maybe some of you are swimmers and that's great. You understand what DQs are, but getting disqualified at a swim meet is not uncommon, and especially at this introductory first go at swim meets. And so often, parents might see that their swimmer was disqualified and it seems like oh my gosh, what happened, that sort of thing. But it is something that's very much normal. Swimming is very technical. And so just as an example, for every stroke, there are very, not complicated, but there are a lot of different technical rules that must be followed in each event and every stroke. So, when you're swimming breaststroke, you have to touch the wall with 2 hands. And if you don't, you get disqualified. If you're swimming freestyle, quite often, I'll just give an example, some of the things that the younger kids get disqualified for. And that would be, they try a flip turn for the first time in their race and their foot misses the wall. And so they don't actually touch the wall at the turn. Well, you get disqualified for not touching the wall. So that would be a common one. Another one would be, if you're doing flutter kick, when you're swimming breaststroke, or another one that's really happens often, and just because they forget, they have a lot to think about, maybe swimming backstroke. When you're swimming backstroke, you have to finish your race on your back. So if the kids roll over and finish on their front, that one happens sometimes too. So, those are just some examples of what happens, but and they are going to get disqualified and the time won't count and you won't see a time. So we do our best as coaches. Obviously some of the DQs are quite obvious, and we can talk to the kids when they come back from their race and say, oh, remember, you have to finish on your back when you're swimming backstroke. And so we do try and take those learning opportunities so that it doesn't happen again. But we just don't want you to be alarmed when you see DQ beside their name, because it's bound to happen. And I don't know a swimmer yet who has not been disqualified. It happens to everybody, and we try not to make it a big disappointing thing. It's just something that it's a learning opportunity. So just so you know, that's kind of how that works. We do our best to try and communicate to them. Sometimes we don't know why they're disqualified, and we can try and find out from the stroke and turn judges what happened. We do our best to try and communicate to the kids, though, what the error was, so that they can improve for next time. So that's DQs. And then I'm just going to go through some things on what to expect at a swim meet, and because I'm sure some of you have this on your mind. You may have a nervous swimmer, so it's very common, and it's very expected. Like it is, the first swim meet can be a little bit nerve-wracking. It's quite different than just showing up for practice. The pool's different. There's lots of officials on the pool deck. They're going to be up on the blocks and doing their thing, and so it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so we just want to reiterate how important it is that as parents, you respect our field of play on the pool deck. And so it's really important that when someone shows up and they're teary and they're feeling sick to their tummy because it's their first swim meet, it's normal. And we as coaches have all dealt with it many times. All of our swim fit and JOW coaches were competitive swimmers. They were in their shoes. They know how it feels to come to a swim meet for the first time. And they're really good at talking the kids through it. So if you have a nervous swimmer at home and you want to give me a heads up about it and I can let the coaches know, that's great. But as best you can, please don't come onto the pool deck and just allow us to kind of work through those things, coach and swimmer together. once they have, sort of figured out the rhythm of a swim meet, and they get together with their buddies on the pool deck, they're going to see how much fun swimming is. And this is the real fun part. This is when they get to socialize a little bit more. When they come to practice, they don't get to talk very much. Their faces are in the water. So this is what it's all about, coming to the meet, getting to know their friends a little bit better, and just having fun doing some races. And so it's important that parents are not in the mix there. If you don't mind, that would be great. One of the other things I was going to talk about. Okay. Yeah, and just really our motto is just to have fun. So if your swimmer is asking questions at home, encourage them to come and talk to their coaches. Try and sort of, get them to be independent with those things, and, let them know if they have issues with their goggles, the coach will help them. If they can't get their cap on, their coaches are there to help them. If they can't find something, reach out to their coach. It's really important that they feel that they can come and talk to us, rather than, waving you down in the stands. And so we want you to be able to relax and just enjoy the swim meet, and not have to deal with those things. That's what we're there for. And, but if you can please send the message to the kids, you're going to have fun. This is going to be great. The coaches will help you if you have any questions, and sort of, get them to be independent and come and talk to their coaches about those things. We have a great group of coaches on the deck, and I'm hoping the swimmers already feel comfortable enough to do that. I would also just offer and suggest not to offer coaching tips to the kids as well. When they're first starting this, there's so much for them to think about. What heat am I in? What lane am I in? What race am I doing? How many lengths is that? What kind of turn do I have to do? What stroke is that? Oh yeah, is breaststroke. Okay, I have to touch with two hands. So they have many things on their mind, and they might already be a little bit nervous because it's their first meet. And so it's really important that at the back of their mind, they're not trying to remember what mom and dad told me to do for this and this and this. So we find that happens a lot, and it adds a lot of pressure and a lot of confusion, and it's really unnecessary. And so, our coaches know what the reminders should be at this level. And so let's just let that coaching come from the coaches. It can be, like I said, very confusing and often overwhelming to the kids if they're getting orders from everybody about what to do in their races. So that's great. Diving, I just want to mention this because I know that some of the kids are not comfortable diving off the starting blocks, and at this level, they won't be required to leave off the block, and the officials at the fundamentals level understand that. And so if the kids have to leave off the edge, that's fine. If the kids have to jump in, that's fine too, if they're not quite diving. So if anyone was wondering about that. Officiating, Jason mentioned earlier, none of you are expected to do any officiating at this level. That comes with Olympic Way and the JOW program. I'll just quickly go through what to pack in their bags. And just so you know, usually before a swim meet, I will send you a very long email with all these details again, but I'll just go through it right now. They will be required to have a Cascade cap, which hopefully most of them already have. The coaches, we always have some extras on hand in case somebody rips one and they need an extra one. And if that happens, and we have to supply a new silicone cap for you, your account will be charged for that. And I think they're $16. They are. Okay.
I think it's a little bit less.
So you won't have to rush cash down to me or anything like that. So we have caps on hand because they do rip occasionally, or the kids lose them. So that's the caps. They must have a cap. A t-shirt. All the new swimmers coming to the meet for the first time will receive a Cascade t-shirt, and we'll have those. And I'll make sure I put their names in them, and they'll get a t-shirt at the meet. So that's that. You can get team gear from the Cascade office. We do have limited Cascade office hours, and they are Tuesdays from 10 to 2 or Thursdays 4:30 to 7. However, not this Thursday because our office staff has gone to Western Championships. So you just have to I always suggest email or call ahead and let them know what you're looking for. And anything with the Cascade logo on it comes from the Cascade office. Other equipment that you get, like the kit that the kids have in their mesh bags or snorkel and stuff like that, comes from Team Aquatic Supplies, or many people are ordering online. But anything with the Cascade logo, you have to pick that up at the Cascade office. So we don't have a ton of office hours, but Ella does her best to try and accommodate everybody. So if you send an email and just say, hey, I'd like a team suit for my swimmer, how can I pick that up? And then you can just tell her your size and
yeah, and just in regards to suits, everybody coming to the summit should have a Cascade swimsuit to compete in. And so those Cascade swimsuits, they're only available at the Cascade office. It just, the timing of it is, unfortunately, there'll be somebody there early tomorrow morning, but the office staff they're all going to Edmonton tomorrow at 11:30, so there won't be anybody there after. But that's okay. You can just pick it up the following week. But as Coach Jackie said, if my swimmer is a size 24 or whatever that case might be, you can call ahead or email the office and just say, look, we need a 24. My daughter is going into the summit May 7th. Can you put one aside? And then we'll put their name on it, and then you can come and pick it up when it's convenient. But for the summit, they will need a Cascade suit along with their t-shirt, which they'll be given at the meet, and the cap, which they should already have.
Okay. They do have other gear such as tracksuits, and I don't know what we have left for parkas, but anyway, it is important at the swim meet that they have warm clothing. And we always recommend that in between races, the kids wrap up good. The pool deck can be cold, especially when they're wet. And we always want them to learn early to keep their muscles warm and keep their bodies warm in between racing. So, they had a hoodie, they could put the Cascade t-shirt over top. We do recommend long sweatpants, keep their legs warm. And if you're not afraid that your kids will lose them, because they do, but deck shoes or, a pair of slides, keep their feet warm and off the pool deck is always a good idea. Sometimes in between races, they don't have a lot of time to get dressed and undressed again. And obviously this deck clothing would get wet because they're putting it on their wet bodies in between racing. So, but it is a good idea, and it is a great habit to get into right off the get-go, them getting dressed and staying warm in between events. I always recommend to pack an extra towel because their towel typically gets soaking wet. Always pack 2 pairs of goggles. Please have a spare, because this is a cause of many meltdowns on the pool deck. Their goggles snap, or who knows, they put them down, someone else grabs them. There's many kids on the pool deck. It happens. A spare pair of goggles saves everybody a little bit of grief if they can, just go grab an extra pair and off to the next race. Excuse me. At Seaton, they can bring, a lock for their locker. The next meet is at Seaton. So if you want to lock your stuff, some of you already swim there, I know that, but some of you don't. But they can lock their stuff there. And then I would just recommend that you label everything. Make sure their name is on everything, because there's a lot of kids and a lot of stuff laying around. They're not always the best at putting stuff back in their bag. And then you can leave your mesh bag at home. They don't need their fins. They don't need their equipment for a swim meet. Excuse me. Want to do this part?
Yeah, snacks.
Yeah, because I'm going to have a conversation.
Sure. So, when you go to the meet, warm up is at 11 o'clock in the morning. You're getting there 10:30, 10:45, and then the summit ends somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. So you're there for a bit of time. And so what we recommend always is sending some snacks with your swimmers, and a bare minimum, a water bottle and a couple of healthy snacks is what we recommend. It's just something that they can nibble on throughout the day. I mean, if your swimmers are anything like ours are, they'll get out of warm up and they'll throw down every single snack that they have and then have nothing for the next 3 hours. Don't be surprised by that. That's a pretty common thing. But Kind bars, Builder bars, granola bars, kind of cut up, apples, bananas, dried fruit, something that is really easy to digest. You don't want anything that's going to sit and be heavy in their stomach. dried cereal, pretzels, little tiny pieces of a bagel cut up, or a sandwich or wrap that can be cut up into small sort of bite-sized pieces is yeah, and avoiding for particularly high in fiber, because that can just upset the stomach as they get going. So,
and then we also just ask that please do not pack muffins, because they leave a big mess on the pool deck, and the lifeguards don't appreciate us when that happens.
Yeah.
And then I guess just if you're, this is just a little extra information for breakfast, try and stick to things that they already eat for breakfast. I wouldn't try anything new the day of a swim meet. And you also don't want to overdo it. So something like, maybe a whole grain cereal with fruit, or eggs and toast if they typically would eat eggs, but yogurt, granola, and berries, that sort of thing. So nothing too heavy, but a good breakfast is going to get them through warm up and probably their first event before their next snack. So, and then most importantly, to have a water bottle. They'll be able to refill their water bottles at the pool, but that water is really important. I had another thought. No,
and nothing new, just as a point for breakfast. I remember, when I was a youngster and my dad thinking that, well, before we go to morning practice or morning swim meet, let's have steak and eggs. I don't know, maybe he saw it in a movie something 50 years ago and thought that was a good idea. Or things like carb loading, or those type of ideas are not something that we sort of subscribe to. Just a well-balanced meal, and a simple meal, and really nothing new the night before or the day of competition would we recommend. So
when the swimmers come to the meet, we will do a whole team activation, we call it. And so the kids will all get together on the pool deck and do some arm circles and get their bodies warmed up, maybe do a team cheer. And then they will get their cap and goggles on and do a warm up. So there's a allotted warm up time before the racing starts. So that's going to happen before racing begins. But that's kind of how it goes when they arrive for the swim meet. And then once your swimmer has raced their events for the day, you're welcome to take them home. You don't have to stick around to the end of the session. But we just really try and communicate to the kids that they need to say goodbye to us, that they have made contact with you, and you're on your way out. And so we're not missing anybody. Anyway, that's kind of all we had to talk about today, but is there any questions?
I'm just going to take a quick look to see if we have anything in the chat, and it doesn't look like we do, but you're more than welcome to put something in the chat if you have a question, and we'd be happy to take a few minutes now and answer any of those questions about anything that have come up.
Oh, good question. Yeah.
So how do we pay for the swim meet? Yeah. So what we'll do,
my notes.
Yeah, when it comes to this, for this particular competition, it's based on the number of swims that your swimmer is in. Everybody has a flat charge of $12, and then it's $8.50 for every, I believe that's the number, for every event that they swim. So that would just get put onto your account and then charged at the end of the month. Okay, so you don't need to make any special arrangements in advance. You don't need to bring anything to the competition. We would just put that bill towards your account and then run it through at the end of the month. So that's how fees get paid for swim meets. Yes, the Cascade swim seat is something that is required when you go to a competition. It's a generic plain blue arena poly blend suit that is available at the Cascade office. And we have them both for the boys and the girls in a couple different styles. And all of the swimmers that go to swim meets, at least from our club, all have that same suit. Is the full 2022 meet schedule in the calendar? So at this level, there are two meets left for you guys, and the first one is May 7th and 8th, and then the final meet is actually
a long course meet, and it actually happens on a Thursday evening at Repsol Center. So that it is at the beginning of one of our bigger meets. But SwimFit and JOW will only be racing the Thursday evening, and they will only be racing 50s. So it's in this case 50 free, 50 back, and 50 breast. But the meet is long course, so they get to race in a 50-meter pool. So it's a lot of fun. And, it typically starts, I want to say, at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and it's only, 2 or 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But
and that's Thursday, June 2nd.
yeah.
And
so those are the
yeah.
final 2 meets for you guys this season.
And just so you know, the meet that you're being asked to attend in May, the 7th and 8th, it's a fundamentals meet, and it will be swimmers from across like the greater Calgary area. There might be some outlying teams that come, but they're all at approximately the same age and the same level. There's an age range, but it's all novice swimmers. When you come to the meet in June, it's a very unique opportunity because the entire competitive swim club, Cascade, are all in that swim meet. So you'll have your novice introductory competitive level kids from JOW and SwimFit there, all the way to Olympic Way, the JAG, the championship, the performance program. So swimmers coming to their very first swim meet, you'll get a chance to see our national team, our Olympic team swimmers also there at the same competition. So that is really an opportunity, not only for your swimmer to get another competition, but to see the progression, because our entire competitive body competes on that Thursday afternoon on June 2nd.
It's really fun. Yeah. And so, and I think if some of you are undecided on whether or not you're going to do the meets, we like to use, this would be a good determiner for you, whether your swimmer likes to race or not. And certainly JOW swimmers moving into Olympic Way, it is important that if you make the move up to Olympic Way in September, that you've at least tried a couple of meets, because when you get to Olympic Way, it is with the understanding that you're there to participate in meets. The program is designed around competitive swimming, and so that's the end goal, and so practices and things you do in practice are designed to prepare you for the meets, and the kids will be going to meet. So if your swimmer is feeling like racing is not for them, it is important that you give it a go and see how they feel about it. And, I'm not here to say that racing is for everybody. I think that typically the kids have a lot of fun. And like I said, it's their chance to get to know their swimming buddies a little bit better and socialize on the pool deck. Some of them bring their coloring books and color together and play games together. And it's really a lot of fun. And that's when swimming becomes really fun. They work really hard in practice going up and down that pool. And so this is kind of like the payoff to see all of their hard work kind of end result.
So I guess to answer your question,
Yeah.
would you recommend JOW to attend both swim meets? And the answer would be yes. We would recommend that you go to both. Yeah. So I guess we're not seeing any other questions. We're just coming up on an hour here. So we don't want to keep, realize it's the middle of the week, and we don't want to keep you unnecessarily. So we'll just kind of start wrapping things up. But in the meanwhile, we're doing that. If something comes up and you do have a question, please put it in the chat. If we end this call before you get an opportunity to ask your question, then you can email the Coach Jackie is probably the best person to email. You could email the office, although as we said, it's kind of closing down here for the week very shortly. But as Coach Jackie was saying, we are a competitive swim club, and going to and competing at swim meets. It is what we do to test the progression of our swimmers in their training throughout the year. And we do that during practice all of the time. But this is a fun opportunity to test those skills against their training partners against other their teammates, against other swimmers at their level from across the swimming community. And so we highly recommend that you add your swimmer to the event, and and then come and support them at the same time when they're competing on the 7th and on the 8th of May. I mean, what better way to spend Mother's Day than at the pool, the YMCA on Saturday or Sunday morning, and then you can head to brunch after and celebrate everybody's success. So
the meets are fun, and again, like I said before, the coaches really try and keep it fun for the kids, and we will take it step by step. No one's going to be put in an event where they're come away crying. We want them to be successful, and we're not going to set them up for something they're not ready for. So I'll just have those discussions with the coaches, and we'll make sure they're in the events that we know they can have fun with.
Yeah. So any final questions before we close off?
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there is. So thank you very much for coming. This will be up and available on our YouTube page in a day or so. If there's anything you want to go back to, or if there was a friend that you're here in the club with that didn't happen to get to the meeting, but they have questions, you'll be able to direct them to the YouTube page and this video in particular, and they can go through it at their own pace. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and we will talk to you later.